Brothers and sisters, I'm very pleased to be here in Atlanta, and I want to thank all of you for coming out. I would love to hear from you, and I know it would take a long time for everyone to tell me who you are, but I have a list of your names, and believe me, I'm very honored to see you, to greet you, to have a chance to talk with you. I've asked for the members of the cultural and art community What is that? Thank you. The only noise I want to hear is my voice, and I don't make noise. I asked for the cultural community, the artists, the producers, the ones that make things happen in the world of art and culture. Producers, radio personalities, and we have an owner of the radio stations, and we are honored for your presence. I want you to focus on who you are. This world in which we live in the Quran is called a transitory world. It's a world that's in between two infinities of time. I would appreciate it if you would turn off your phones, please. Thank you. I said this is a transitory world in between two infinities of time. The first infinity is from God's creation of this that we call universe. Trillions of years to the present world, which is very limited because it is the world of the rebel of God. This is not God's world. This is the world of the enemy of God. And that's why there's so much suffering in the world, with 7 billion or more people on the earth. And billions of them live off of $1 or $2 a day. God never intended for human beings to live like that. But in this world, the wealth of the many is in the hands of a few. And so in our talent, our gifts, in a world that is called the world of sport and the world of play. Play meaning we're not engaged in the production of a world that satisfies our needs. We're engaged in a world where they brought our fathers into slavery, and as the scripture says, by the rivers of Babylon we wept when we remembered Zion. We hung our harps on the willow tree, and our joyful song had turned to mourning. And those that carried us away captive required of us mirth And those that wasted us required of us a song, saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion. And as long as we could sing, as long as we could dance, as long as we could make the slave master happy, we could move up in his world, but never to be his equal. In the world of sport and play, nobody plays better than we. Nobody sings better than we. Nobody is the specimen of perfection physically like we. So we are kings and queens or gods in the world of sport and play, but under him. So he determines how high you rise. And if you don't please him, he sets us down. So what pleased him with our art was that we could make songs that depicted ghetto life. Not the hope of our conquering ghetto life, but ghetto life. Shooting one another, shooting up, drugs and guns and gangs and jail. So we have contributed a lot to our own destruction. If I don't see you on Sunday, know that Joe Biden and Bill Clinton were the architects of the crime bill. And know that Miss Hillary, she championed the crime bill. And while we were having the Million Man March 21 years ago, they were in Congress setting guidelines for prison for crack and powdered cocaine. So the drug war that started under the Clintons and the Bushes before him sent many of us to prison for nothing. A little blunt, a little crack cocaine, and the white boy making it with many grams of powdered cocaine, and we are crushed. And under that crime bill, in that same time of Bill Clinton, they went after welfare because they said a few of us were taking advantage of welfare, and from one generation to another, we were living on welfare. As that's an exaggeration, because many of us survived because of aid to dependent children. My mother got aid. She was a strong West Indian mother. She worked on the side. She wasn't supposed to, but she did what a mother, a good mother, would do to give me and my brother a musical education, because she never wanted us to clean white folks' houses as she was doing. And I remember the social worker coming to our little apartment in Boston and seeing how clean it was, and Mother had nice things in it, So they made an inspection, and they wanted to know, how did you accomplish this being on aid? So with her nice West Indian accent, she said, you think I want to live off of that? How am I going to give my children some education in music? Jean and Alvin, come, bring the fiddle, get to the piano. And we laid out some stuff. The white woman was blown, because at that young age, I was considered one of the finest young black violinists in Boston, and my brother was an excellent pianist. And she left that house that day blown away, because she met a woman that understood what aid was and used it wisely. When I was 16 and completed high school, that day that I graduated, she got a check from welfare. And she said, come with me. And I went to the place in the little town of Roxbury, Mass, where these social services were. And so she gave the woman back the check. And she said, I thank you for helping me to get my sons to this place, and now I will take it from here. Not a welfare cheat, but somebody that understood the value of getting help when you don't have a man in that house to help you with your children. The Clintons took that away from us. And if you went to prison, they would not allow you to come back to where your mother lived. If she lived in the projects under government housing, her son coming out of prison, her daughter coming out of prison could not come home. And if they found someone in the house that had a prison record, they're all out of public housing. So many of our people became homeless. And many men who were not making money, they stayed away from the house so that they could get a check. So many of us grew up without a father, and our mothers struggled with us. But those of you in here who are a little older, you can remember the time in Atlanta, in New York, in Boston, in Cleveland, in LA. In every major city and minor city, there were factories that employed the men of the black and brown community who didn't necessarily want a college education, but we were trained in the crafts. And we had jobs that didn't make a lot of money, but it allowed us to come home to our families with what meager earnings we had. And all of a sudden, in the 1970s, I read an article that they expected the inner cities to explode, so it was not wise to invest in the inner cities. So the factories began to close down and move out. And when the factories closed and moved out, and we didn't have a skill or an education that was marketable, we ended up with nothing. In walks guns. in walks drugs. It's not your fault. It's social engineering. They were building prisons, brothers and sisters, like people build hotels. You don't build a hotel not expecting occupancy. Then the prisons were on the stock market now. People bidding. It's a private enterprise. So they wanted us to fill the jails. There was a meeting I heard out in Los Angeles where record executives were invited to a meeting, and in that meeting were those investors in the prison system. In the early days of rap, it was edutainment. It was rap and rhyme with wisdom. But they wanted to change that because they can't fill the prison with wisdom. They wanted to fill it with those of us who sold out to the gangster culture. So when we got into that kind of rap, that's when the big record companies started pushing you. And naturally, you could become rich just calling your females what rhymes with rich. You could become wealthy calling your women whores. You could become wealthy just saying you don't like this nigga MF. And you wouldn't say MF, you'd say the word straight out. And then you hear the children now loving the beat of the rap, and the language that they began quoting was our language that we put before the world, and the enemy just promoted it, kept promoting it. So you could get some money, and naturally you want to compete with your brother or sister that got some bling. And so the enemy is handing you money in one hand and then telling you about his brother that owns the jewelry shop right around the corner, and you can go and get some bling. And some of you, you want a little gold in the teeth. I know you looking real sharp. And his brother is a dentist around the other corner. And then you want somebody to design your clothes. He got another brother that's designing your clothes. So they are in the circle because they cooperate with each other. The money stays in their circle before it leaves. But with us, the money comes in, the money quickly goes out. And we keep like a dog running after its tail. We're constantly striving, but never going where we want to go. We have to put a stop to that, brothers and sisters. Now, you remember Vibe magazine? Is it Vibe? Source magazine? I think Mr. Mays said he was coming. He used to own Source, I think. What would Source feature? It would feature the beefs of the rappers. Radio now plays up the beefs of one another. So Tupac is dead and Biggie is dead, and our big brother out on the West Coast, is he in prison now? Suge Knight. What is it called? Death Row, yeah. Now, as long as you beef, you can't sit down together like brothers who are making money and pool that money to do big things economically. See, the Jews are wise like that. They may not love one another, but Mr. Saperstein and Mr. Rubenstein and Mr. Cohen, they just say, hey, come on. It's Rosh Hashanah, it's Yom Kippur. Let's forget that I robbed you last year. And let's put our money together, and the next thing you know, they own all of the things that we need for our work. They own the theaters. They own the venues. You're the talent. They don't have the talent, but they know how to manage your talent so that they become rich and you're lucky. You know, they put the money up for you to rap. You come with an idea. They say, okay, when you rap, and they put the money up, they tell you, well, you know, here's a little advance, which means you owe, before you get started, you owe money. So here now, you rapping, but you're not getting a good enough check, even though you're happy your record is on the radio. Man, and you're knocked out because you don't really want money. You want to be respected. You know, put some what on my name? And you deserve respect. You want to be loved. You want people to know that you exist, man. I'm here, and this is what I do, and I'm good at what I do. And as long as people say, hey, there's so-and-so, there's so-and-so, you feel good, man. You ride up in the ghetto with your nice whip, you know, and you step out, you know what I mean? And you know that the women like you. You're happy, but you're broke. You know? You're happy, but you don't have what you deserve. Your record went platinum. But when the check comes, they tell you, well, you know. And you know, I put up so much, and I got to get that back first. But here, if you want another advance. So they advance you right out. This is modern sharecropping, brothers and sisters. That's what our grandfathers and grandmothers used to do on the plantation. You never finish paying the enemy for what he said you owed at the company store. So you had to keep on planting the next season, hoping that you break even. So sharecropping was not good for our grandfathers, and the type of sharecropping on your gifts, your skills, your talent is not good for us. So how do we break out of this economic crush? $1.1 trillion is coming through our hands. That's a lot of money. And when white folk see you with $1.1 trillion, you know what they're saying? How much of that can we get from them to make our communities strong while we keep their community weak? Now, I don't want you to think I'm talking down to any of you, because I'm in love with you. And I'm willing to give my life to see us in a better place. So I'm not talking against you. But we have, the Koreans have 80,000 stores in America in the black community. Now, I mean, I know you look beautiful with your hair, and they're selling, you know, and we are buying, and they've graded hair so that if you really want a real nice look, you got to pay real nice money. And you know, man, you sacrifice for your hair. Not for a book, for something in your head, but for something that makes you look absolutely beautiful. And you are beautiful beyond words. Look at your, I'm speaking now to the sisters, look at the beauty of your bodies. Poor Donald Trump, poor fellow. That man sitting on TV talking about, yeah, you know, when you're a star, you know what I'm saying? You could just kiss a woman and she ain't gonna say nothing. You're a star. You can grope her if you want to. See, we love stars. And many of you know that when you became a star, you didn't have to look for women like you did in the ugly days. Women look for us when you're a star. And when you take advantage of sisters who are really the women of God, not of man. See, the only reason they're with you as a star is because they are born to look up to God. Because they're from God. So when you are the master of what you do in your field, you attract beautiful women around you. And when you misuse them and abuse them, you finally come down. You never will be successful abusing our women. Could you turn that off a little bit? I know the airs, we need it. But when you all get super hot, we'll put it back on. But you look cool to me. You are so beautiful and attractive. You allow people who are stars to take advantage of you. That's not good. One of the things that I have learned as a Muslim, but even before that, as just a young man, when I was in show business, the women love you when you are gifted and talented. And they would come to wherever I was performing, in the nightclub or on stage and in the dance halls. But I had my girlfriend who became my wife, and I would just go off the stage to her. Women may felt bad that they tried to get their brother, and I felt good, you know what I mean? Because I didn't take advantage of them, and I had the girl that I loved, and that was sufficient for me. If you're going to be great in life, wisdom will tell you to be committed to somebody that has earned your love. You never get married for sex. Then it's two dogs in heat. But a woman is created by God to help a man to be as productive as he can be. That's what the Bible means when it says God created Adam and he saw that Adam was alone and he said, it's not good for a man to be alone. So he gave him a woman as a help meet. Not M-E-A-T now. M-E-E-T. Not a mate, but a meat. Meat what? Every man is born with the nature to be a producer. Every man. The man that you got, he's born to be a producer. That's what the Bible means when it says, Adam, multiply, replenish the earth, and subdue it. Because I'm giving you dominion over the fowl of the air, the fish of the sea, and every creeping thing that crawls upon the earth. That's you. You're born to rule the nature of God's creation. But you got to be yourself a God. What? The scripture says you are all God's children of the Most High God. And he's most high, not because he's high. He's my, no, wait. I'm going to be like God, you know what I mean? I'm going to be the most high on my block. And you never grow to master beyond your block because you're so high you can't produce. God is the most high because he's the most magnificent in all the divine characteristics of his nature. And each of us has that nature of God in us. Now, why, Farrakhan, are you saying that to us in this setting? The greatest change agents in the world are the people in the culture and art community of every nation. Mao Zedong had 600 million Chinese to organize, to deputize and supervise. So what did he do? He had a little red book, but he knew he couldn't put that book over without the art community. He did it in song, he did it in dance, he did it through plays and theater. That's how the artist community is used properly to engage the minds of the people in a revolutionary desire to be free. You're the ones to do that. We are the gods of art and culture. So any change that we want, you are able to produce it with a song. Now, I don't know if you know T.D. Jakes, but T.D. one of the baddest preachers that we got. And there's a lot more. I mean, we hoop a lot. We preach. But one song from any one of you, ain't no preacher that we got can match the power of one song. Just one. Preachers may be good in their church, but you got followers all over the world. And who are the revolutionaries that's overthrowing governments all over the world? Who is doing that? Who? Say it again. It's the youth. If the youth are doing it all over the world, then he who can guide and control the movement of youth are the real world leaders. So if you're that good like a Jay-Z and you're in the beehive with Beyonce, what politician doesn't want you by their side? If you can hoop like LeBron James, what politician wouldn't want to say, LeBron James has just announced his support for me? They need you. You really need them if they would do what they promise. But the problem with most of them, they promise only to deceive. How you doing, my brother? You know I'm happy and honored every time I see your beautiful face. Thank you for coming. Have you heard of Killer Mike? Now, Killer Mike, when I saw him stand with Bernie Sanders, because of all the candidates, Bernie Sanders was talking more the right talk, the revolutionary talk, the game-changing talk. So Killer Mike stood with him. But the other day I heard him on YouTube. I think we Googled him up or something, and he was blazing. These dogs, he said. Yes, he did. He called them dogs. He said, go on down to the bank. If 1 million of you take $100 out of your bank account, just 100, and take it to a bank that is your black bank and put 100 million in that bank, then you make a demand on that bank to serve your community. 100 million that's in our hands, we can start doing business, creating industry, manufacturing again. These two young brothers that own this place, I was blown away. 26 years old. Now, I don't want to come back to Atlanta and find the gathering spot in trouble, because it's only successful if we support it. This envy that we have, this is a sickness. Oh man, I ain't going down there. Them niggas gonna make some money. Next thing you know, they'll be driving a Bentley while I'm in my Volkswagen. If you would like a Bentley, do you like Bentleys? Just say. Would you like one if you had one today, a Bentley? Well, whatever you like. If you like it for you, do you like it for your brother if he gets it before you get yours? See, we're not Muslims unless we love for our brother what we love for ourselves. So if you get it before I got mine, I should be just as happy for you. And I mean be genuinely happy with no back talk and slander and bad mouth. See that nigga, he out this, he's selling drugs. You don't know what he's doing. But if he is, leave him alone. That's how Mr. Kennedy did it. He was the big dope dealer in the 20s and 30s only was called lightning. A liquor man. Prohibition. But the money that he made one son a president, two sons senators. Come on now. He was allowed to keep what he got criminally. Bob Lucas couldn't do that. No. Lucas had the best heroin. I mean, it's best if that's what you like. But look at where they, according to the movie, the dog was barking. And they found the money where the dog was, took the money, put him in jail. When he comes out, he's still a great brother here, but he ain't got no money to transfer drugs into another kind of business. If you a pimp, excuse me, if you're doing that and you're good at it, you're a businessman. Your product is the sale of women. Okay, so we bust you for that. That didn't take away your productive mind. All you need to do is turn it. We walked in the hood. The brothers came to me and said, Farrakhan, said, man, we doing this, but we doing this to survive. I understood him. All these empty buildings on the south side of Chicago, and he got money, but he can't put it in a bank. He got to find some place to hide it because it's so-called unclean money. Now, I don't know how Mr. Kennedy hid his money and laundered it and did. You know, they do laundry work. But my point is, he was in a beef a few blocks away, another gang, guns and drugs, so he couldn't go across the street to partner with the brother over there and say, look, man, we killing each other. Let's stop this, man. You pool your money, we pool ours. We buy up all these buildings. Give these young people a job, having people who know woodworking, carpentry, electricians and roofers and all of that, and teach the young. When we came out of slavery, we were the builders, man. White folk, if you saw him with a hammer in his hand, that was news. Hey, look at that cracker. He got a hammer. If he wasn't hitting us in the head with it, he sure wasn't building nothing. We were the builders in the South, everywhere else. But when we got out of slavery, the enemy said, if them Negroes start building, all of them will have jobs. We'll have nothing. So what they did, they opened up the immigrant population from Eastern Europe. And a Jewish man by the name of Samuel Gompers started the AFL-CIO, but you couldn't get in it. But it was Europeans now in the union, the trades. Now they wouldn't let us work, and now they couldn't, our fathers couldn't pass that on to the next generation. So with every generation, we became less and less builders. So here we are today without the skill, but the inner cities need our genius to rebuild the wasted part of black America. I'm going to close that with this. We have to stop the beefs. You know, when a man tell you, put some respect on my name, that's kind of serious. And brother wasn't playing when he said it. But when we start dogging each other rather than lifting each other, after we dog each other, we can't come together with each other to plan for the whole of our people. Now, I just want to give you what I would consider a thought, a couple of them. If you're not going to be out Sunday, I'm just going to give you a hint. How many of you realize that our people are dying from all forms of cancer? We lead in every phase of cancer, blacks. Our women, they say, are the #1 carriers of the AIDS virus. How did that happen? They put our young men in jail, and then hardened criminals say to a young black brother, you gonna be my B. He didn't go in as a homosexual. And when he comes out, he don't come out to be one, but he had a heavy homosexual experience in prison. When he went into prison, they tested him to see if he was diseased in any way. But when it's time to come out, they don't test him. So the first thing he does when he comes out, he wants to find his girlfriend and resume the life that they lived before they put him in prison. But she don't know, and he doesn't know, that they infected him while he was in prison and made him a carrier of the AIDS virus. We are under a genocidal plot from the highest levels of the U.S. government. I'm not saying something that I can't prove. And I say this to you with all humility. When you know the truth, you have a responsibility to speak what you know. When you know the truth, it doesn't mean anything that you know it. You've got to develop the courage to speak it. Courage, you can't buy it at Walmart's, you know. Farrakhan did not develop courage from reading somebody's books. When you love and love deeply, you will fight for what you love. Look at a mother who never went to firefighting school, but let her baby be in a fire and she know her baby is in that house. She'll break past the fireman to go get her baby and risk her life in so doing. What's the power that gave her the courage? It's the love of that life that's there. Martin Luther King loved us. Malcolm loved us. Elijah Muhammad loved us. Muhammad Ali loved us. The great leaders, Marcus Garvey, W.E.B. Du Bois, all of them really had love for us in varying degrees. But the greatest love is when you can sacrifice your life for what you love. You are a people worthy to be loved in spite of our madness. God loved us and chose us to be the cornerstone of a new government. He don't want you integrated into this. He want to bring you out of this and make you the cornerstone of his kingdom. You, unfortunately, want to stay in this because you have fallen in love with your persecutor and your 460-year-old enemy. And Reverend, if you're here, you know, you can tell them to love everybody, but God don't. And if God is the greatest of all and he don't love everybody, you think you can compete with him? See, our love of the enemy is a foolish love. But should we hate them? Well, the scripture says, no man can serve two masters. You're going to have to love one and do what? I didn't write it. I just believe it. I don't have no cracker as no master. From the richest of them that I have met, I never have bowed to them. If I was a whore, they could have bought me. But I'm too much in love. They ain't got enough money to buy me. And I'm not a rich man, but I'm rich enough. And even when I was broke, I was a man. And that's why the enemy can't stand it when we show love for one another. That drives him crazy. At the Million Man March, I don't know whether any of you were there 20 years ago. Brothers and sisters, I mean, think about that. I said to those that we taught, I said, don't bring no guns. Don't bring no weapon. Bring yourself. This was to be a spiritual journey. I wanted to see if we would forsake work on Monday, school on Monday, and pay a price to come to Washington. And we did it. And on that day, when you looked at that sea of black men, some young men hadn't seen their fathers in years, but they met them at the Million Man March. It's true, it's true. Now, Clinton was president, but he left town. He was down in Texas somewhere. Congress closed down. The Supreme Court closed down. City government closed down. And all it was 1.5 million to 2 million of us coming around, demonstrating love for one another. I caught a lot of flack for having the Million Man March from some of the sisters, you know. What kind of thing is this? Is a sexist thing, you know. Damn Muslims. They're against women. No, man. God made man first. If you don't have a man, you can't be the woman that God created you to be. Can't do it. And guess what? He can't be a man without you. That's why I always tell the Catholic fathers, hey, you know, God didn't tell you not to have a woman. You keep listening to the Pope, you know what I mean? And get a woman, brothers. Even if you're a little gay now. You know, I know, listen, brothers, let me tell you something. I have gay people helping me. I have never disrespected them. And they ain't never tried no gay stuff with me. I'm just being 100. Now, truth. The enemy is doing something to feminize black men. You're a great man.
Yes, he is.
But the enemy wants to make you less than what God made you.
That's right.
Oh, come on, man. I was born this way. I don't think so. God don't make mistakes. See, there's something in the nature of a pig that a pig will have sex with the same male pig and a male pig. Yeah. That's in their nature. They can't help it. Well, you eat a lot of pig, then you know, they say man is what he eats. And Jesus said man is what he thinks. So the bad food that you eat, now you can't live on this McDonald's stuff. You got to take care of this. This body is the real house of the living God. This. It is sacred. This. So what you put in this, in food and drink, can either extend the life of this or diminish the life of this. Most of our people that are sick, the sickness and disease is really rooted in malnutrition. Have you heard that before?
Yes, sir.
If you haven't, I want you to think about it. Everything that God wanted us to have to sustain and maintain life, he already put it here. He never made a health food store. He just made the herbs and the bushes. And he taught man how to use what he created to heal any illness of this body. When my teacher's teacher, Master Farrakhan Muhammad, came to North America, the first thing he did was to go into people's homes that they would permit him in and look in their medicine cabinet. And he would take all the medicines out of the cabinet, throw it in the garbage pail, and point to the kitchen. See, that's your medicine cabinet. Well, what does that mean? If the kitchen is your medicine cabinet, who is your woman? See, sisters, you the doctor, baby. If you know the science of food, your children can be kept well because you know the science. Your husband can be kept strong as he goes out in this world to try and make some money to feed his family. You keep him strong with what you do in that kitchen. Where do you shop for food? Oh, well, you know, I'm too busy. I don't know. I frozen this and, well, what the hell? I ain't wasting no time with him. Just throw it in the pot or the microwave and feed him. That ain't love. When you love that man, you got to make sure he knows it through every morsel of food that he eats. My baby loved me. Because she proves it because I'm healthy. Now people look at Farrakhan and say, damn, I saw him the last time. He looked younger today. What's going on, man? Going on 84? Wow. Now, I could sing that song, I got a woman crazy about me. How do you know? Look at me. You can tell I ain't cooking for me. Somebody's caring for me. Sisters, you are the ones that God has created to be that food scientist. We have Muslims now studying all the chemistry of food. All of it. Because this whole body is nothing but chemistry. Every chemical that's in the earth is in your body. And it's proper use of chemistry that keeps your body in balance, no dis-ease. But we got to know now what foods to eat to correct anything that we're doing that's not right. It's the food. Now, even knowing how to eat to live, you're not going to live long if you allow the white man to grow your food. Sorry.
That's right. That's right.
He denatures the food, takes the strength and the mineral strength out of it, and synthesizes it, puts it in a little pill, and brings you to the, what do they call that place? The health food store. So all of us going in the health food store, coming out with all these packages of pills. Every day, listen to your radio, listen to your TV. Are you tired? Well, you like sex? I mean, do you? You got to have this pill. This will really help you. It might overhelp you. So if that happens, run right away to your local doctor. Your great-grandfather didn't need no Viagra, brother. He just ate right. And some of our old folk, they was in their 80s and 90s making babies. Poor us. We're in our 40s and have trouble straightening things up. I'm not trying to be funny, but it's nice to say it in a way where we can laugh ourselves into better life. Dear brothers and sisters in truth, they have commercials on TV. If you take this pill, talking to men, and you start developing breasts, stop right away. And go to your doctor. What's the chemistry in a pill that will give a man breasts? About a year ago, they told me that my cancer was coming back. My PSA had jumped from 00 to 9 something. They said, Farrakhan, we can't find it. That's interesting. Because usually if you have prostate cancer, it will go to the bones. So they gave me a bone scan, ain't nothing there. They gave me a PET scan. They could not find any of my organs that lit up saying cancer's there. They did my brain, they did my lungs. They looked at my kidney, my pancreas. They couldn't find no cancer. But they said, now, we know it's there somewhere. We just can't see it yet. So we want you to take this shot. I had it once before. It's called Lupron. Any of you that have cancer, I'm saying this, don't be afraid to get tested. And the younger you do it, 38, 39, 40, the quicker you'll find out if you do have it and you can beat it. Cancer is not something that needs to take us out if we discover it early. And then be very firm in going after it. How many of you remember Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture? Let me see your hands if you, oh. See, Kwame Ture, he was diagnosed with cancer and he didn't go right away to fight it. And when he started to go after it, his PSA was through the roof. The cancer had broken out of the prostate and began to metastasize, and it got too far. He couldn't conquer it, and we lost a great man. We cannot afford to lose you. You are the world leaders, excuse me, of the young. So while you're growing in knowledge and your gifts and your skills, you have to take care of this.
That's right.
So here's what I'm suggesting. Number one, we really need to find out how to pool our resources. We have many millionaires and a few billionaires, but none of them get together to think about what to do to help our people. I'm suggesting to the art and culture community, first we got to stop the beefs. The beef is an enemy to our unity, and our disunity is an enemy to our overall progress. You cannot pool your resources with somebody you hate. So the hate that we do with one another, we got to stop it. So the wisest of you should set up conflict resolution. Because if you know that there's a beef, call the brothers together, squash it, because every one of us need a Rick Ross. We need a Meek Mills. We need a Game. We need our people of substance. So you got to look past foolishness and stop a thing, and then let's sit down and see what can we do together that will build the love and respect in us for one another. Now here's what we're looking at. The richest land on earth is in Mississippi, in the Delta, where the Jews from Eastern Europe came, and they went right there, bought up land. You know they weren't going to work it. We worked the land for them. Now the young children of those that own the plantation, they don't want to work no plantation. So we want to give them an offer that they can't refuse. And the offer that they can't refuse is their face on a dollar bill. Ain't nothing but paper, but it's how you use it. Do you know America is for sale? If we had $50 million, we could have bought the FBI building in Washington, because it was up for sale. And then they would rent it from us, and the money that, oh yeah, well that's real, baby. See, the only real wealth is real wealth. It's not paper. It's land and what come up from the land. We got to own land in order to be economically free, and we'll never be economically free unless we pool resources and go back to the earth and own as much of it as we can. Dear brothers and sisters, when we came out of slavery, they said we had 16 million acres of land. Them slaves now, just set free. 16 million acres. That's 150 years ago. And 150 years later, we've lost 2/3 of the 16 million. We're down to a little under 4 million acres. And without land, you have no basis for economic development. Everything I got on, everything you got on, is from the earth. The animals, they would love to give you their wool. The cow would not mind you taking its hide. That's where these shoes come. No, these not, no, not this. And you know what? They take synthetic stuff and make our shoes or sneakers, whatever they call them. And how much they charge us for that? 160, 180. And Kanye got some stuff, man, that I don't know, that's off the chain. $600, $700, $800. And even more than that. Some of the stuff that he has is in the thousands. Well, the man is a young genius. But look at the division. I mean, Kanye loves Jay-Z, and Jay-Z and Beyonce helped him out. But suppose you all that got money sat down in a room and said, look, man, let's pool some money and go buy 10,000 acres of land in the Delta. Oh, man, 10,000 acres? that's a lot of land. It sure is, but not enough to feed 50 million of us. We figured it out how many millions of acres we would need to feed 50 million of us. It's about 200 million acres. The whole of California, if we owned it, it would take care of 50 million of us. So you got to think about the future. Ain't no, now Hillary, oh bless her little heart. You know she loves you. She's as sweet as she wants to be when she wants to be that way. But she's as deadly as the deadliest viper if you cross her. I saw something on a crawl today on the TV. Putin says if Hillary's elected, it means war. She got more kahunas than the other fella. She's more experienced. And she knows the way of the world. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, you can play this political game, but we always end up losing. So pooling your resources and buying land. And what we're going to announce, if it's the will of Allah on Sunday, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said we ought to build our own political machine. He didn't use the word party, have your own political party, but that's going to flow from having your own political machine. What does a political machine do? Here we are in Atlanta. This is one of the finest cities in America. We got a lot of rich black folk here. We ain't got no factories, do we? Well, the little man here, we haven't provided a job for him. How can our people be what they should be under an educational system rooted in white supremacy? Come on. If you're going to teach your children the same old stupidness that we were taught, they'll be just as stupid as we are. And I'm not putting us down, but we haven't done too much of nothing to advance us as a people. So what kind of education did we get if that education does not make us able to supply our own needs? Come on now, brothers and sisters. We are in colonial status. You know what that is? Colonial status? You're segregated. White folk tell you where they want you to live. And if where you are, they want it, they move you right on out. You're like dust. You know, dust is so easy to move. All you need is a little rag. And I hear that they want the bluff now. Because they're building this new dome and a direct shot from the bluff to the dome. See, in every major city, they want the cities back. And we're standing in the way of getting the cities back. Suppose, instead of a colonial status, we started thinking like the Koreans, like the Jews, like the Italians, like those who run where they live? Do you run where you live? I don't think so. See, you know how they rule us? Through the people that we look up to. Reverend so-and-so, you go downtown when he wants something. A black mayor doesn't mean things are different. Can I get a witness? You've had some of the best black mayors that we've ever had. In Andrew Young and Maynard Jackson. Two wonderful brothers. But how has the condition of the masses changed? Come on. Andy was so proficient as a UN ambassador or a man that knows the world. He could have put us in touch with our family all over the world, setting up trade and commerce with us, with Africa, us with the Caribbean, us with Asia. But all of that, the money from that part of the world came back to Atlanta, but not to you. Now, some of us did get some jobs when the Olympics came, right? And a few of us were made millionaires. And that's good. In Washington, D.C., Mayor Barry made many black millionaires because he shot to the black people contracts to do A, B, and C, and we performed, and the money came to us. And that's why he could smoke all the crack he wanted. And he could romance any sister that he wanted as long as he kept taking care of the black community. And that's why he could go to jail and come back out and be mayor one more time. Because the people knew he was their man. Now, I'm going to say something in closing that I'm going to be like Donald Trump. No, in this way. In the debate, Donald said, I don't want to say it. I hate to say it, but I'm gonna say it. You know, we had great hope in Brother Barack. He was really our hope. A beautiful black man. Now, I mean, that man, he touched us in a way that no black person ever touched us before Barack. We loved Mr. Garvey. We loved Noble Drew Ali. But there never was a leader that had the love of the people to the degree that Barack Obama gained our love. Would you say that's true? Now, I went out and voted for my brother, and I know that Hillary had him to diss me. You remember? You do? Yes, sir. Yeah, man. I said something nice about the brother, and Hillary wanted to be president then, if you recall. And Tim Russert, you know, I understand that Farrakhan, see, they made me the litmus test for anybody that wants national office. The only way you can get there is you got to renounce Farrakhan. So they put Brother Barack in that bag. And they made him say, well, no, I don't want his support, blah, 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 blah. But I told all those with me, I said, don't you keep your support from him. No, you give it to him because he is being manipulated by the Jewish man from the Washington Post who made Farrakhan the litmus test. So did you know that I have a picture with me and Barack? You've never seen it because I never would put it out. It's me and Barack shaking hands. Because I knew that if I ever let that go out, they would use that to hurt that brother, so you never saw it. Barack moved into the neighborhood where the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's national house is. And one day he knocked on my door. When the brother went to the door, it was Barack. Oh, we couldn't tell him, do you have an appointment? Brother came in, and I was real happy to see my brother. And we sat down. He was Senator Obama then. We helped him to become senator. Big time. So when he came, he sat. This is our conversation. I've never said it publicly. I'm not saying it to be put on the news. And I'm not interested in you, my Twitter army, using this. When I get ready to make it public, which I'm about to do, but I don't really want you to misuse it and hurt that man. But when he sat down, he said, "Oh, Minister, I just moved in the neighborhood, and I thought I'd come by and let you know that I'm in the community, and I don't have furniture in my house right now, but when we get that furniture, I'd like to invite you over so we can have coffee together." I said, "That's fine, brother. I really appreciate that. But I have furniture, you know, we can have coffee too here." He said, "Brother Farrakhan, the black vote is what made me have the victory in Chicago. But it was the downstate vote that made me a U.S. Senator." Did you hear that? Yes, sir. What does that mean? What does that mean to you? You don't know what the downstate vote is, do you? Can you think about it? Who lives downstate? So he was telling me the black vote made me win in Chicago, but it's the white vote that helped me to become a U.S. Senator. And he said, "Brother Farrakhan, I'm not going to do anything that would cause me to lose that downstate vote." So I said to him, "Brother, your reality is not mine. And I respect your reality, so we would never ask you to do anything that will cause you to lose the downstate vote, because we need you where you are." And we shook hands. And he left. A little over a year after that, or less, he was running for the presidency. Now, running for the presidency, that man couldn't make it to be president if he didn't denounce me on Meet the Press. Now, I'm saying that to say this. If I were a small-minded man, I would have been angry and wanted to retaliate and tell him, you got to put some respect on my name. But God has blessed me, brothers and sisters, to always see that there is a bigger picture. Jesse Jackson, when he was running for president, he asked me to help him. Now, those that were around me at that time, they may not have wanted me to help Reverend Jackson, but Reverend Jackson at that time, to me, was the bigger picture. I wasn't well known at that time. In fact, it was Reverend Jackson who pulled me out because I was trying to rebuild Elijah Muhammad's work, and I worked for 7 years underground. Underground. Because my teacher said, a wise teacher too, Elijah Muhammad. He used simple words. He said, brother, when a seed germinates in the earth, it sends a root down long before it sends a shoot up. So in rebuilding his work, I knew I had to go down in the hood and start building roots in the people so that when the little shoot came up, they would not be able to disturb it. So when you really want to be successful, you don't call a press conference. You do what you got to do, and you be what it be. So I'm saying all of that to say this. It was Reverend Jackson who said, Farrakhan, you can't hold this wisdom that you have from the public. And when he asked me to help him, that was the first time in 7 years that I talked to the media. Now, I don't know how to be a surrogate. I'm sorry. I really tried. No, I'm serious now. You know, I've been kicking white folks behind for all these years. You know what I mean? And I don't know how to finesse that thing, you know. But he asked me to help him, and I did help him, but I was kicking, you know. And I would tell him, I would be at push. I said, now I'm going to help my brother. But if this thing don't work, I got something in my back pocket, which was always the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's program. Separate and do something for yourself. So when Jesse denounced me, he was the bigger picture. And I never, ever asked anyone with me to throw their support away from Reverend Jackson. That's a fact. We protected him from the Jewish Defense League. We protected his family, all the FOI. He's my brother. And it was his time to shine, not mine. And when you see somebody in the light, and it's their season, what do? Do you try to throw dust on the person? Do you try to shield him by saying ugly things about him or her? No. Hush your mouth. If it's not your season, help the one that's in season. So it was Barack's season. He is and was the bigger picture. Why is he the bigger picture, Farrakhan? Because our people were blown away that a black man might possibly become a president of the United States of America, and they wanted that. Why would I go against what the masses of our people want? I have to bide my time and wait my turn. It's my turn now, though. So, Tavis Smiley, Father Flager, Cornel West. There was one or two more. They were very displeased with Barack Obama. And they wanted to really cut him down. And they met me in my hotel in California. And there was going to be a national town hall meeting. In Chicago. And I told Reverend Jackson and all of them, never criticize your brother with vitriol so that you will join those in the Republican Party who genuinely hate him. So if you're going to criticize him, you criticize him out of love. Nobody's above criticism. I said, and remember this. Conrad Worrell had his Barack's BlackBerry number. But after brother became president, he tried the number. Barack was in orbit now. It's all right if you're a booster rocket. Know your place in the scheme of things. See, if you're the booster, he ain't going there unless the booster rocket put him in orbit. But the booster rocket does its job and falls right on back to Earth. But what it put in orbit's floating. And I said to my brothers, I said, remember, if it's 4 or 8 years, he'll be coming back to Earth. Since he was a nigger before he went up. And he was a nigger while he was there, in their mind. So when it's over, and it will be over in a few months, and I thank God, I pray that he gets out with his life, nobody harm him, or his wife, Michelle, and those 2 beautiful daughters, come on home. And I said, I wanted to say, and then maybe we can have coffee and talk about what we both can do to advance the cause of a people. And don't now, having said that, That's what I once wanted to say at one point. I was thinking I was going to say it Sunday. But I think this is the best audience to hear it. Because Barack Obama gave us something. If he never gave us anything, our children will never, ever again believe that all they can be is basketball players, football players, singers, and dancers, and jokesters for white people. He killed that spirit. He could have done more, but he was always thinking of the downstate vote. That's why Reverend Wright was kind of pushed to the side when it was time for him to announce that he was running. And that's why he's not been the type of president for us that we might have loved more, because the downstate vote was always in his mind. And even though he's not running no more for president, it's over, he yet is timid in speaking up for the hurt of our people. But we thank him for the good that he could have done and the good that he wanted to do but didn't have the strength and love enough for us that would give him the courage to do it. But he did what he thought he could do and get away with. Fight for same-sex marriage and LGBTQ rights. Immigration reform, he tried. I'm going to close Guantanamo Bay the first time I get in. Well, I thought Matthew was going to close it, but it's still open. But I thank God for our brother. He's a young man. And all I told him on television, on my Facebook page was, it's okay, brother. Don't worry about Trump saying that when he gets in, first thing he's going to do is scrap your Affordable Care Act. Let him do it. He's only showing you how much hatred he has for you. That's not your legacy. What you did from day one to the last day, that's a part of your legacy. But a period has not come to your life until death comes. So as long as you're alive, with the wisdom that you have and the years of your world experience, and we are a world people, we're all over the world. We can make him the president of the black nation after we reform his thinking. So brothers, sisters, let's continue to boycott. You can't fight him with the little pop gun you may have at home. He gave you guns, allowed us to have guns, because he knew we was just going to shoot each other. And unfortunately, that's exactly what we've done. But recently, some of us have been shooting up the police. Wow. And of course, they're blaming Farrakhan, you know. And guess what? We're being sued, you know. Did you know that? Yeah. Barack is being sued. Eric Holder, Louis Farrakhan, Al Sharpton, and Black Lives Matter. All you niggas, I mean, that's stupid. You the ones causing us to kill white folk. And our lawyers had the answer in court, and they still fighting, man. They want to bring us into court probably to say that Farrakhan, you're the one that inspired these peoples to kill. You're right. I can't deny the truth. I'm teaching you to wake up. I'm teaching you to defend the life that God gave you. I'm not teaching you to be an aggressor, but I'm teaching you to fight with those who fight with you. And if some of them die, then so be it. What time is it? Oh, no. Gee, I didn't realize I was going this long, but I would like to take a few questions from our brothers and sisters in the audience. I didn't come with prepared notes, although I have something here to tell you how effective the boycott was last year. Yes, sir. How many stores went out of business because we voted with our dollars. That's the way I want us to do it this year. Is keep your money. You hurting, aren't you? Aren't you hurting over what they're doing to us? Well, you know, downtown has juice. Downtown, if they stood up, they could say to the mayor, look, mayor, them Negroes ain't spending no money with us. We got to bring them police into check. They could talk to the police chief. They could make a change. So Dr. King said, we need to redistribute our pain. You in pain over the killing of our people? We're in pain. How do you redistribute the pain? Dr. King, on the night before he was assassinated, he said, take your money out of the white bank and put it in the black bank. He said, we're not going to buy Coca-Cola. We're not going to buy Seal Test. We're not going to buy Wonder Bread. And Jesse was in the audience, and he said, Jesse, what's that other bread? He said, oh, it's Heart's bread. He said, we're not going to buy that. We're not going to give them the benefit of our dollars. If our lives don't matter, then our dollars shouldn't matter. Take your money. Now, if you started taking back out of $1.1 trillion and let some of it circulate in our community just a few times, let's say 10% of 1.1 trillion. That's 100,100,000, something like that. What could we do with $100 million if you had it right now? How much farmland could we get? How many cows could we buy? How many sheep could we buy? How much milk could we get from our cows to feed our children good, wholesome milk? How much wool could we get from our sheep? How much hide could we get from our goats and from those cows that had fulfilled their duty? Take their hide and start creating shoes. Look, man, you the designer. We got black designers who go to Italy and design shoes. See this shoe here? Oh, that's a nice one too. Yeah, this top of the line stuff now. But wait. But it was black people that designed these shoes. The white man is making the money off our brains. Why can't we use our brains to make money for ourselves? That's the point. So artists organize. Cultural icons, the radio station that owns. This is a big man, but now I'm asking you not just to own the radio, but to use the radio to organize the art and cultural community for progress. Here's Rick Ross. This is my brother. I love you, brother. He's a giant in the field, and I have an album coming out. I don't know whether you heard about it, but Rick is on it, man. Who's on it? Well, stand up, brother. Who's on that album?
Our brother Rick Ross, Snoop Dogg, Common, Stevie Wonder.
Wait a minute. Farrakhan, what kind of album is that? I didn't know you rap, brother.
Oh, yes, sir.
No, wait, no. Hush. No. We got a song coming out called I'll Fight You.
Yes, sir.
It's about how God fights. See, he's whooping them now. He fights with the rain. He fights with the wind. He fights with the hurricane. He fights with the tornado. He fights with the heat. He fights with the sleet. He said, I'm God. That's who I am. I can't be beat. I fight with the forces of nature. Now, that's the level that God operates on. But what level should we fight on? See, we fight for unity. We fight for peace with each other. Each one teach one. See, we fight on our level. They ain't getting no guns, man. God taking care of that part. But naturally, if you got some, hold it now and shoot straight. Who else is on it?
Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder, Shaka Khan, Denise Williams, Stephanie Mills.
Any Grammy winners?
The Marleys, Damian Marley, Stephen Marley, Greg Fillinganes,
Tina Marie,
little Jimmy Scott.
Any of you remember the older ones in here? Do you remember little Jimmy Scott? No, you didn't know him. He was 83 when he recorded for us. He passed away, unfortunately, a little while ago, but he was the voice that started, Nancy Wilson and them. You know Nancy Wilson? Well, she's one of the great ones, but her style comes from little Jimmy Scott. But he's on the album, and we have some of the finest musicians in the world.
Chick Corea.
We
Paul
have
Jackson Jr.
Paul Jackson Jr.
Paulina Da Costa.
Oh yeah, name them, brother. What I'm trying to do with music is to show you, dear beloved artists, you don't have to sell your soul to be great. You got it. Then use it properly. Use your gift. Don't sell your soul. Yes, you're beautiful. I love Beyonce. I mean, she's one of the most beautiful women in the world, but it grieves me. I don't like to see men looking at her, gnashing their teeth. Boy, I wish I could get that. See? Get that. What's that? See, once you put your people's mind in the gutter, it's very difficult to lift them. You don't need to show your body, show your gift. Yeah, your body is a gift now. Nicki Minaj and what's that other girl? I already mentioned her. What's the other one? Rihanna. You got all these fine women out there. That's great. But don't sell sex. Sell your gift. And like David said, man, let all your gifts be a praise of God. And that's what you'll hear on this album. You'll hear classical, you'll hear gospel, you'll hear jazz, you'll hear hip hop, you'll hear calypso, you'll hear reggae. But that's all my life, right in that. My life in music. I pray, God, that it'll come out soon. I've been working on it for 12 years. And I hope it'll come out early part of next year. So I've had a wonderful time. Any question now? Oh, yes, brother.
What's up, everybody? I didn't have so much of a question. I had a challenge for everybody in here. My name is Maurice Garland. I'm a music and culture journalist, you know what I'm saying? Proud to be from Atlanta. My challenge to everybody in here is, everybody's on social media, everybody visits websites, everybody reads magazines. Spread the good news as much as, some of us spread the bad news, because, every day I get to see what people click on the most. And folks click on the beef shit. I'm sorry, people click on the beef the most. And I do believe that if we spread more of the good news, that'll have a more positive impact on everybody. Because it's like, I was one of the first people to break the story about Killer Mike in the Black Bank Challenge and how he moved millions of dollars in less than a week. That shit went through the skies, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody clicked on it because it was so rare to see that kind of news get spread. But then on the flip side of that also, you know what I'm saying, when you got your Meek Mills and your Gaines beef, you know what I'm saying, folks like to click on that and share that 2 times as much. So my challenge to everybody in here is like, be careful about what you decide to consume, first of all. You don't have to click on everything that goes on the internet. You don't have to click on it. And be even more conscious of what you choose to share with your folks that are reading it, because everybody may not have the same gift of discernment as you. What you may think is a joke is like, oh man, you know what I'm saying, this is my little bullshit, I'm going to read today. Somebody else may take that as law. They might not have had the same, educational opportunity as you. They might not have had the same, raising as you as well. So my challenge to everybody in here, if you're consuming media, you know what I'm saying, whether it be television, radio, magazines, websites, make a conscious effort to share the good news just as much as the bullshit out there. That's it.
Thank you. Brother, what is your name again, brother, please?
Maurice Garland.
Maurice Garland. Thank you, brother.
Right here.
Very good what you said.
Minister Farrakhan, my name is Robert Petrie.
Yes,
I live in Dallas, Texas. I was a friend of business associate Tacoma Cottrell, friend of yours. In 2005, I forced the state of Texas to pass House Bill 43, where they tested every inmate that's released from prison. At first, they said we test them going in, but I forced them to test them to come out.
Yes.
They said that it would cost $5.25 to test the inmate going in. And I said, you mean $10.50 you could test the inmate coming out? So they passed that bill. My company in Dallas, Texas, owned 122 acres of commercial land. So when you talk about land, I own land in the 9th largest city in America, and it's all commercial. You can ask any of the brothers in Dallas, Texas about Robert Petrie. Thank you.
Wait a minute, brother. We can't let you go because you're somebody we need to know. We got to get his card. Because you definitely know you're on the right track.
That's right.
Now, when they tested them coming out, dear brother, what did they find?
They finding that there are men coming out with AIDS. But what has to happen, they say that they can't tell the wife or the girlfriend. See, we have to force them to be able to tell if this person has HIV, AIDS, and tell the community. See, we have to force that. And that's a part that needs to be added to that House bill. But in most states, they don't test inmates coming out.
That's right.
And that's part of genocide, as you said, the conspiracy. Right. And we have to wake up as a people, because genocide is working every day. HIV, AIDS is a man-made disease. See, and if 49% of all HIV persons in America is black, and we 13.6% of the population, there's something going on, and we ought to understand that. See, when we looking at all these things that's happening to African Americans, it's by design, conspiracy.
That's right.
Everything that the minister is saying, this is true, and we need to wake up to it.
Thank you so very much, brother. Now remember, if you know you have AIDS and they tell you you can't tell anybody, they want you to spread it. It's genocide. Somebody else? This is the last one.
Hey, my name is Greg Wynn. I'm actually from right around the corner in Chicago on 79th and Low by the Final Call.
Thank you.
You touched on two things that are very important. I'm going to ask my business partner, Ron, to go to stand up, because real estate and financial services, we tackle that. Turn around. This man owns a real estate company right here in Atlanta. So if anybody wants a house, commercial property, this is a black-owned business right here. Right here. I was the first agent he hired just on a whim in 2005. Now, I'm a regional vice president with Primerica here, and I have an office in Snellville. My challenge is not so much black banks, white banks. There's something called the global economy. Can anybody in here get rich putting their money in a savings account? You can't.
No.
Because what they're doing, you take your $1,000 and put it in a savings account, it's going to sit there and they'll give you 0.8%. But the global economy, they're taking that same $1,000 and it's going around the world in 24 hours, and they're giving you 0.8%, and they're making 11%. The goal is to open mutual funds. That's how the white people stay wealthy. Invest in their money. Life insurance policies. How many in here owns a life insurance policy? Well, if you don't, we need to talk out back. Because that's the key. Wealth is created. You got to insure a home, a car. You can't drive a car off the lot without insuring it. And I'm on record, everybody in here, for half of what you pay in a life insurance or for your auto insurance, I can cover your entire family.
Brother, let's have your name and your card, man.
No problem.
And this is how we help each other to become wealthy and strong. Now, Brother DeVoe, look, man. I mean, you're a giant in every way. I thank you for your great voice, and I thank you for what you're doing in real estate. That's real estate is real. You gotta have some of it in order to be a producer. May Allah bless you. Brothers and sisters, I wish I could stay with you longer, but I did stay longer than I should have, because oh yeah. Wait, brother, wait just a minute. I see my big brother 2 Chainz is here, and his blessed mother. Where is she? And his wife. Where's Mom? All right. Now, wait a minute. May I? The brother who owns the radio station, where is my brother? Okay, hold him for me. I want to greet him and shake his hand. I wish I could shake all your hands, but honest, it would take so much energy from the old young man that I would not be as strong as I should be on Sunday. If any of you will come out on Sunday, I didn't touch everything tonight, so if you come out Sunday, we'll get to a little bit more. May Allah bless you all. Thank you so very much. My sister, we were at your place the last time we met. I'm so glad to see you. I was looking at the violin that you gave me just before I came here. Is that your son? Is that your son? How you doing, son? What's your name? Wasir. How old are you? 10? Yeah, I remember when I was 10. It was a long time ago. But you're going to be a great, great man when you grow up, son. And our duty is to keep you safe so you can be the great man that you're born to be. Where's Jermaine Dupree? Front row. Oh, boss man, I got to shake your hand now. Rick, you can't leave without me hugging you. And 2 Chainz, I wish I could just tell all of you to your face how much I love you and thank Allah for you. Where's Brooke Payne? How you doing, soldier? I'm better. I'm looking at you.
You remember the pains in Boston?
Yes, sir. Oh, brother. Yes, I remember the Pains. They were very close to me growing up in Boston. But we got to redistribute the pain. Where's Kelly Price? Ooh, that's my pretty sister. Oh, I heard you on Kanye's. Yeah. How you doing, Kelly? Oh, I love you more. Can I get a chance to shake your hand? Oh, man, I wish I could do this for everybody.
It's KP.
Stand up and call out the brothers and sisters.
At least the front 2 rows.
Okay, tell me who you are, please.
Big Crit from Meridian, Mississippi. Yeah.
From Meridian.
Yeah, Mississippi, man.
Now you know.
Paul Wall from Houston, Texas.
Pleased to see you, dear brother.
KP, I've actually been in your house in Chicago a couple times.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
I'm
Glad
from
to
here in
see
Vine
you
City.
again. Thank you.
I'm DJ Shakim. I live here in Atlanta.
Wow, DJ.
Yeah, I'm Benzino from Boston. Brother Farrakhan.
Benzino, you were with Source.
Yeah.
You own
Yeah, me and my partner
and
Dave
Dave
Mays.
Mays. Is Dave here?
Yeah, Dave's here.
Where are you, Dave?
He's here somewhere.
Don't hide, Dave. We respect you. We're going to put some respect on your name. How you doing, Dave? Glad to see you. Come on, Benzino, because I got to shake your hand, man. How you doing? I'm good. Thank you. You stand up here. Oh, boy. Oh, my dear sister. I love you as well. Thank you. Thank you. She'll be there Sunday if you're able. Okay? Benzino, how you doing? Really glad to see you. Thank you for coming. Oh,
Savannah is a great entertainment attorney from New York. Now she lives here.
wow. Honored to see you. Thank you so much. How you doing, DeBoe? Very honored. Thank you. I love you much, man. Oh, brothers and sisters, boy, I wish I could stay and hug every one of you. But you know, I say this to people when I shake their hands. I say, you know, brother, I love you. I'm not queer, nothing like that. But you know, you ain't used to having nobody tell you they love you. So when I say it to a black man, he kind of say, what? Brother, as much as you think of me, is as much as I think of you. Yes, I don't see myself as one iota bigger or better than any of you in this room. That's why I love to serve you, because you are the master and I'm the servant. I